So what up, what up, what up? This your boy Jonah Bay. We at Consultation Wednesday where I answers y'all's questions and answers on the law. I give a quick little dissertation. The flyer to I'm gonna be putting up tonight for the previous webinar that we had this weekend that just passed. It's up on my site. Y'all can buy a copy. All right, I got YouTube back up. I'm getting nice with this shit, y'all. I'm getting nice with it, y'all. Can't stop your boy. Damn, I got the covers on the couch and shit. You know what I mean? Where I was laying down. I wasn't prepared to come inside. Good thing house is clean and shit. I don't be having no dirty house, but I wasn't prepared to come inside. All right, let me go back to where I left off. It said, in April 1940, Alex McCutcheon borrowed $23,500. What he need that money for? For an investment company without security interest to December 31st, 1940, was paid on March 4th, 1941, in the amount of $333.67. For the calendar year of 1940, the McCutcheon Investment Code trustee duly filed federal income tax returns and reported and paid tax on the income of each of the four trusts above described. Respondent determined a deficiency in the income tax against petitioners for the 1940 based upon the inclusion of the income of each one half income of four trusts. Issue 2, on March 15, 1940, Jessie Reagan, joined by her husband, J. H. Reagan, executed an oil, gas lease on certain described property to Alex McCutcheon, a pertinent provision of which followed. Leasee Alex McCutcheon agrees to immediately apply to the Railroad Commission of Texas for permits to drill 4 wells upon said tract of land, and in the event one or more such permits should be granted to immediately upon the completion of a well which McCutcheon is now drilling, known as the Trucker-Beeler well, move said rig and drilling machinery and equipment to the tract of land herein described and begin actual operations for the drilling of the first well on the said tract, and continue said drilling operations with due diligence until said well is drilled to completion, and successfully thereafter lease will drill on the additional wells for which the Railroad Commission permits have been secured at not to exceed 90 days for interviews from the completion of any one well into the commencement of drilling operations on a succeeding well. All of the said wells to be drilled with due diligence in a good and workmanlike manner. Yeah. So I want to get to the part where the IRS is coming after him. So I'm skipping. Opinion of Andrew Judge, or A. Rundell Judge. The first issue deals with the taxability of the petitioner on the income of the four trusts here involved under Section 22A of the Internal Revenue Code under the principle of Irving versus Clifford, 309 U.S. 331. The respondent contends that the McCutcheon Investment Code is but an alter ego of petitioner Alex McCutcheon, and that he must regard as the real trustee, and that as such, he has retained control over the several trusts sufficient to leave him in substantive the owner of the properties. It is apparent, we think, that the McCutcheon Investment Co. is not an independent entity insulating the grantors against taxability. If otherwise, various trusts should fall within the rule of the Clifford case. Petitioner Alice McCutcheon owned all of the shares of the corporation except qualifying shares directly managed the corporation as its president. He further reserved the right to charge the trustee and substitute himself, to change the trustees and substitute himself. Under these circumstances, he must be treated as an actual trustee for present purpose. Phipps versus Commissioner, 137. So this is what I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all can't have it as an alter ego. You can be the grantor of a trust. You can be a trustee, but you can't be none of the beneficiary. Right? You can be the grantor of the trust and be a beneficiary, but you can't be trustee. Even if you're trying to use another corporation to do it, you really can't be in control of that corporation that's the trustee, or that's going to be seen as an alter ego, a sham trust. Do the shit right. Trust is about having 3 different positions, and at least one of those positions has to be done by someone else other than you. To keep it simple, that's the gist of it. Thank you, I appreciate it. Someone said nice suit. Now, if y'all are liking the information, let me get some ones in the chat. Let me get some ones in the chat. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or some likes. It's raining hard. I just got back in the house in time. My computers would have been all messed up if I'd have just waited a little longer. So I came in at the right time. Joshua, what's the fuck the matter with you? What's the fuck the matter with you? Should I kick you out the chat now? I said 1111. I didn't say no damn twos. So either you give me some twos or I'm going to kick you. Give me some ones or I'm going to kick you out. I hate people that don't follow instructions. I'm waiting. If I don't see it in a few more seconds, you go on a permanent bye-bye. Okay, let me look for the name. Let me kick him out. Oh, he left. He kicked himself out. Good. Yo, why can't people pay attention? Why can't people do what they ask? Nah, someone said he got fat fingers. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, because he wouldn't have kicked himself out. I went to go kick him out. He kicked himself out. Why? Because he knew he did it on purpose. You know? And now he gonna come back in. I see you came back in. Give me my ones, Joshua, or I'm gonna kick you out. Fuck that LOL shit. If you wouldn't have put nothing there, you wouldn't have had to do anything. But being that you wanted to be 100% funny or do what you wanted to do, I'm not impressed by that. That's not gonna fly. All right. Now he puts 111 and I didn't kick them out. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Well, it took too long. My bad. If you come back in, I'll leave you alone, Joshua. My bad. But yo, so you gotta have that trust situation set up properly, man. You know what I mean? Like me, I tell you how one of mine's, my main one is RAM, my Express Trust. I have I'm the grantor, right? I have my wife's sister as the foreign trustee. She lives in England, right? I have as a junior trustee or subordinate to the main trustee, my wife, or authorized person, my wife, and I'm a beneficiary and the kids are a beneficiary. I do not have all three positions. Now, I am a trust protector, which means I can change the trustees if need be. But I cannot run the trust myself. I have to fire a trustee and get a new trustee. You see what I'm saying? Very important that your trust is set up that way. It's very important that your trust is registered down at the county, right? If it's not, you don't have a proper trust and they will pierce it in court like they tried with this court case, right? So get it done. If you don't know how to do it, go to Jonah Bay. I have a whole trust series at jonahbay.com that will teach you the laws. Because I went by the actual laws to set up my Express Trust. And it'll teach you the laws on how to do it and be out of the reach of the IRS. Like, if they would have did the trust the way I do the trust, that trust wouldn't have even been responsible for paying any taxes whatsoever. But they did domestic trust. I don't do domestic, I do foreign. So just know the difference. We at the almost at the 30-minute mark. So I'm gonna open up the line and let people ask questions. I only got one hand up. Hopefully this is gonna be a short night. John Doe. Peace to Yahweh. I don't hear you, John Doe. John Doe. Is he muted or something? All right, I'm gonna come back to you, John Doe, when you can come in and talk. Easy G3. Peace to Yahweh. Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, John? Okay. Yep. Hey, yeah, good information. Two questions. What you were reading towards the bottom about what the IRS is trying to do.
Yes.
It sounds kind of similar to the information that Shaka was reading from on the Build on Sunday.
It is. We are doing a series.
Sounds like the same shit.
It's the same shit. We're doing a series. So Shaka read to you that case, and it said you can't do it that way. I'm reading you another case because we're trying to slow the lessons down so that y'all will actually learn it. If you actually try to be all three positions, they're going to come after your trust.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when you say filing it down at the county level, are you talking about just doing the certificate of trust or the entire declaration?
Say that one more time.
When you talk about filing it at the county level, are you talking about just filing?
You got to file the whole thing. The whole thing.
The whole declaration.
The whole thing. That's the only place that you're supposed to file the whole thing. Everything else is a summary of that because everyone else don't need to see your whole indenture of your trust.
Right. So that's what the certificate is for. The certificate is normally one thing.
Yeah, to give it to the banks and shit like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right, and then I have another question. So regarding what you were talking about the injunctions, and I'm talking about the tax one and the travel one.
Mm-hmm.
What you said before, and I'm just double checking, is that no spiritual names, just only the the name that we were born with. No spiritual names on either the tax injunction or the travel. Correct?
See, that's not really true. On the very top of the injunction, I have special appearance, Jonah John Bay, beneficial owner of Scott, Jonah John, doing business as Jonah John Scott, right? And then when I start going into the rest of the injunctions, I talk about Jonah John Scott, because Jonah John Scott is the only one who pays taxes, or they try to make pay taxes, because he has a social. Remember, your express trust name, your Moorish name, he don't pay taxes. He don't have a social. He's not part of the United States. He's part of Morocco, the empire. He's not required to do none of that.
All right. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
All right, peace. Yo, Khan, babe.
Peace to the Yahoo, my teacher. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, magnificent, and great. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, magnificent, and great myself, man. I can't complain at all.
I lost my handkerchief.
Got paid yesterday from one of the from the independent contractor job, and they didn't have no taxes.
Oh shit! Testimony time.
It's been,
how it feel?
For about almost about 6 months now. So
how does that feel, though? To get all your money, how that feel?
That feels good, you know. They even made a mistake like about 2 months ago, and where I didn't get no check. They apologizing to me.
Well, you know, when you do my process of the affidavit of no tax, right? You are now, when you do that affidavit, you are considered an Indian, and Indians shall not be taxed.
Facts.
See, that's a whole nother status thing that people don't even know. When I made y'all do that process, that was a status change. So for all of y'all who didn't do that yet, that got regular 9 to 5, go to jonahbay.com and pick up that webinar. And the webinar is called what is it? W4T, get your money back from the IRS.
That's right. That W4T is the truth.
Also, not the form. It's not. See, I don't want you to say that. They think in the form. It's not the form. You're not supposed to use the form. You're supposed to use the law that's on the form and make an affidavit.
I stand corrected, teacher. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You need the W4T workshop. Is the truth.
Yeah, W4T workshop. Get your money back from the IRS. That's what it's called.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I like this case. I've been reading it over and over again. I didn't really go ahead.
Yes.
I've been going back.
I feel you.
Back into it.
You could have went ahead. You could go back, because when I discuss it, you'll understand it even better when I break it down. You feel me?
I'm seeing so many things in here.
Yes,
like
sir.
What you read tonight. I like how I've been studying something called it's called a build to suit lease. Mm-hmm. So where the company builds the building that the person is going to lease, right?
Right.
So that's what this explained tonight when they were talking about the oil leases.
Yep.
For the land, because the so that's a private contract between two people, and the one is going to build it for the other one to lease it out.
Yep.
To actually pay them back.
Yep. And the proceeds of the oil goes directly to all four trusts. 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. See,
looking at
they
it,
set
looking
up
at it.
they set up exactly how they wanted it to run from the very beginning before they even started doing business.
Yeah,
Before the oil rigs was built, before they started extracting oil, they took care of, they thought it through from beginning to end.
that's what I like. That's what I want. That's what I'm doing. You got to do you because you taught us that you have to see your endeavors from the beginning
Yep.
to the end before you start.
Well, you
And
know,
that
that's how you also manifest it, by visualizing what you want to happen, writing it down. That's all a part of visualization techniques to make stuff materialize in the real world. That's why they tell you to write it down. Now, write it down as a trust. Why not?
yes, yeah. See, from the rip,
From
save
the rip.
yourself some time.
Yo, you could do that with a woman. I call it a coochie contract. Make her write down what she wants out of the relationship. You write down what you want out of relationship. Y'all read each other's things that you wrote down, and y'all agree on some things, disagree. Y'all rewrite them until y'all get everything y'all agree on, and then you hold her to that. She holds you to what you wrote. You know what I mean? And if y'all was to do that, y'all would have much better productive relationships.
Why do you say that? Because it's going to give you the opportunity to actually keep the lifestyle that you like, right?
You're gonna have the lifestyle. You're gonna have the lifestyle. You also gonna have, yo, this is what you said would make you happy, and I'm doing it. This is what I said would make you happy, and you're doing it, or you're not doing it. You're not doing it, yo. Here's the contract. This is what you said you got to do. You're not pulling your weight. And if you're not pulling your weight, this contract says I'm allowed to come out of it, and you forfeit anything that we built together because you broke the contract. Y'all know it. Y'all call it a prenup.
Yeah. They say prenup. But no, we over here we call it the coochie contract.
The coochie contract.
Yeah, Jonah. Nothing but gems over here, Jonah. Nothing but gems. Throughout the years, you kept me safe, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I feel like my life has purpose by helping y'all with y'all's life.
Yeah. Now it's for the big things now. So we're gonna.
The big things is coming, yo. The big things is coming. You know, I got some other tomorrow. I'm gonna talk about 2 other cryptocurrencies y'all need to buy that's super cheap. One is 3 cents, one is less than 1 cent. And they're utility coins. One of them is gonna handle all the agriculture trade around the world. And that's for 3 cents each coin. You know that's gonna have to be huge.
I can't wait for that. I'm still working on the last one you dropped.
I know I don't give y'all easy tasks to go find them, but y'all gotta go find them and figure out how to buy them, because they doing tricks to try to stop us. But I'm gonna keep on giving it to y'all as soon as I get the information.
Okay, I got a little workaround for one way. Now check it, right, Jonah? Did you ever hear about them ATM machines, them Bitcoin ATM machines? That is a way to get around the one workaround.
Because if you got Bitcoin, you can use your Bitcoin to buy any other coin.
Yes. And you don't have to give up no ID to get it.
Yes.
Because it's just cash.
Yes.
Now I don't have no workaround for the website where it's your country and they can't open up an account because your IP address is from the United States. I ain't work around that yet.
Well, you could try to use a what is it called? A VPN. But what they're trying to do is make sure everyone gets a chance in every region to get rich. So if they're saying, yo, we don't want people in the United States buying this coin, that means it's slated for another country for their people to buy and get rich. Because they're going into a new money system, they need the money spread around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No doubt.
Yeah, good talk, Joan. I'm gonna get out the way and let somebody else get in here.
All right. John Doe. Are you back? Can you talk now? All right, there you are. Peace, my brother. Yes.
Excellent. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, magnificent, and great. I hope all of y'all are too.
Excellent. Yeah, we good. I just want to piggyback on the brother with that W4T. I used it as well, and it was 100%. For me, it was 100%.
Right.
But shortly after that, I'm not gonna lie. Shortly after that, I got fired because of it.
What? Why?
Yeah. So in Jersey, it's a at will state, so they can fire you for sneezing. They don't care.
So they
didn't like my approach.
Let me explain to you why they would want to do that. Because when they make you pay on your job, pay taxes, what you're really doing is paying the taxes of the actual company.
Right.
So when you're not paying, that means you're not paying your portion of the company's tax. So that's why they don't like it.
Right. And I know I took away from a lot of benefits that they get as well, like some of their stocks and some of their programs that give them tax deductions.
Yes.
Which I was cool with. I wasn't hurt about it because I expected it to be done. But as soon as I got fired,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Over all my pay stubs,
and
they gave me my 2 pay stubs that would have came in the 2 weeks, and it had everything tax free.
Right.
So they accepted it. They was just like, you just
they just pissed. You ain't going with our program.
Yeah, but it was a success for me. It was a success for me.
Well, it definitely is because now you know it works and they got to do it. And when you get your new job, you're going to do the same. But I tell you the truth, you're the only one who got fired. No one else.
Right. I did fight it. And I took it to what's it called? The
labor union.
The equal. I did the whole process, and this was way before I did anything with common law. So I did a couple things, and they didn't want to defend me.
Of course not.
You can do it if you want, but we're not going to defend you.
Bro, they would be opening a can of worms. How could you get the government to argue with the government that you don't have to pay taxes? They're not going to want to do it because that will set precedents, and that would mean that all black people are Indians and don't have to pay.
That's a fact. So I had a question going back the other day when I asked about having a baby. I called around, and some of the midwives and some of the facilities told us that we can choose not to use the birth certificate, but they will still have to register the child being alive that they performed that action, that duty, that the
that's
baby
right.
came out. So is that registration part of anything?
No.
Because I know somebody
long as you don't get
a birth certificate.
Long as you ain't got no birth certificate. What they're talking about registration is they're going to give you an affidavit saying that the baby was born alive.
Right. So
you
is
need
this
that
equivalent to like what we're going to do with the announcement?
You need that. You're going to take her affidavit and you will run it in the newspaper.
Right. Would you say that's the same as like the one that has the baby footprints on it?
How could I told you it's an affidavit that she's going to do? Is an affidavit a birth certificate?
We're gonna do it.
No, the bitch that does it is gonna give you an affidavit.
Okay.
You keep on asking me the same question a different way. Cut it out. You know that shit pisses me off. I'm a fucking doula. I think that's what they call them. I'm there. Your girl has the baby. I write an affidavit saying that I was there to deliver a baby at such and such time, and the baby was alive for this couple. Affidavit. That's it. An affidavit is not a goddamn birth certificate. And it doesn't fucking matter, because what matters is what makes your birth certificate so fucked up, they register it with the state. And you become a corporation. An affidavit don't create a fucking corporation. That's like asking me, well, Jonah, you registered your trust down at the county. Is that shit a corporation? Hell no. To do a corporation, I gotta go to the Secretary of State, fill out their paperwork, and they keep my original paperwork, and they become the owner. That's the same shit with a birth certificate, man. You need to study how corporations work, bro. They ain't nowhere near the same shit.
I got you, bro. I appreciate it.
All right. Indigenous Overwatch. Peace to Yahweh. And
peace.
Anybody who I already talked to, can y'all put y'all's hand down like John Doe? Easy, put your hand down so I can see the other people's hands up. Thank you, appreciate it. What up, my brother?
Peace. Initially, I didn't have nothing to say, but I was thinking about it. I said, damn, this trust, right? It's composed, man, like it's put together very well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm saying that to myself. I said, damn, man, this trust is really put together, really well.
It is.
Now that's got me thinking. I said, well, I'm wondering how popular was it, amongst certain groups.
You didn't know that these people were the uber rich? These people were rich.
Huh?
These people in this case was rich. No, everyone didn't know. Only the rich people know. The same way that only the rich people know today.
Okay, and because I'm like, well, damn, well, because it's put together so well. I'm wondering why they didn't make it foreign and they got it domestic. You see what I'm saying?
If he didn't read where did I get that from? You got to remember, that's not in this case. That's not in the Wise Trustee Handbook. It's nowhere. Where did I get it from? I got it from the IRS manual.
The IRS manual, right?
So if you didn't read the IRS manual, how would you know it?
Okay, yeah. And you ain't got nobody in your circle that put you up on game and told you about it.
Yeah. Most people operate from a domestic trust. I showed y'all how to operate from a foreign trust.
Yeah.
Now the real rich people, the real rich people operate out of a foreign trust too. That's why they go and put their money in a Swiss bank and all that shit, and then they have foreign trustees.
Copy that. Yeah, okay. That's all I wanted, man. It just popped in my head,
You having them aha moments. I feel you.
Yes, sir. Looking good too, my brother.
Thank you, my brother. Eugenio!
Yes,
Eugenio, peace to Yahuwah. What up?
Peace to Yahuwah. Great show, man. Listening to what you're reading, man. Always bringing facts.
Thank you, my brother. I always want y'all to know this ain't my opinions. I'm studying. I'll show you exactly what I found, the laws, and proof that this is the way we need to do it. If I'm not giving you the proof, then I'm giving you hearsay. Let all those other teachers do hearsay. Jonah don't do hearsay. Jonah don't do hearsay.
Right. And for the brother who just came on and was talking about he got let go at his job in Jersey. look for another job and do the same thing.
Yup.
You know, I'm my job. You know, the job I work for is in Jersey, and I did the same thing. I had no problems. So you know,
Right.
it depends on who you work for.
I told him he the only one that got fired out of thousands of people.
No, absolutely. You know, I did it for Jersey, and I did it for New York. So you know.
Well, see, here's the thing. It's the law. So they got to do it. But they don't have to keep you hired under their company. That's some bullshit, but yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, unfortunately, some companies do that. But, you know, you got other companies that know.
Right.
They accept it. You know, the minute I did it, it was automatically. You know, when I first got hired, I did it.
Right. Well, it's so much easier if you do it when you first get hired, but plenty of people already had their job. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. You know, I think the bigger companies don't care. You know, if it's like a small company,
Right.
you know, you might have some trouble.
They need those tax breaks they're getting. They don't want to give that up.
You know, so if you work for a bigger company, you're not really gonna get pushback.
Right.
If it's a small company, you know, they might give you.
I think it ain't really the small company. It's more like the middle-sized company.
Right. Yep.
The small company will have you work under the table. They don't give a fuck. But a middle-sized company, nah, they trying to follow all the breaks they can get.
No, absolutely. You know, and like I love what you know talking about in terms of the trust, because you know trust is not new. I mean, it's been
trust existed way before corporations.
I mean, the Bible itself talks about trust.
The Bible itself is a trust and a trust indenture.
Right. You know, that's why they call it a covenant.
Yep.
So that's what a trust
That's
is.
exactly what it's a covenant, which means it's a trust. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I love the information, and I'm gonna keep listening.
All right. Thank you for calling in, my brother.
Absolutely.
That was the last caller. Let me see on the internet if I got any questions for these last few minutes. Mr. Bay trying to get the WT workshop but wasn't able to retrieve it. How can I get it? You got to go to jonahbay.com and you look for it. If it ain't on the first page, you go down. Now, get on the computer so you can see the full page, internet page. And it's going to hit next. You're going to hit next. You're going to hit next till you find it. When you find it, you press on it. It goes to the cart. You go look on the right-hand side up on the website and hit your cart. Then you can go pay for it. That's how you're going to do it. Yeah, because ain't no way y'all should be paying taxes as high as shit is today. Wait, we should have our own peace. We should have our own business anyway. I agree, brother. I agree. Don P says, fly suit, my brother. Can I borrow that? I'll get it clean. Ashe, no doubt. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, he fresh as fuck. Thank you, y'all. Thank y'all. Don P says we about the same size. Are we? I'm a 36 long. 36 long. So I don't know. Are you that size? You look a little bigger than that. Yep, I'm a 36 or a 34. All that working out I'm doing is like really I was a 34 and then I worked out so I'm to a 36, the muscles. Peace and prosperity to you, Jonah, and the rest of the Moors on tonight's show. Peace, Al Shalom Bey. Thank you. We all thank you for that encouragement. Nice suit. Frank the Price. Appreciate you. Uh, God damn, Jonah's basement big as hell. Yo. My man cave is the whole house. It goes across the whole house. So yeah, I got a workout room down here. I got saunas, a bedroom, a full living space, a pool table behind me. Yeah, it's pretty big. It got a whole bunch of lifestyle shit in it. You know what I mean? Um, what do you mean go to not working? I believe it's working. I'm sure it's working. I'm looking at it. It was probably not working when I had to pull it, come from outside, so I wouldn't get wet. What up, champ? What up, champ? To you too, my brother. Um, y'all must have really liked the information tonight, man. Y'all really didn't have no. Yup, you're absolutely right. I do got a radiation block on my neck, and yeah, it's gold. It's gold. I like gold. Let's see what TikTok is saying. He said, "Why would you have to register a private agreement?" Yo, what's the number, God? I can't give you the number. If I did, then they'll shut my TikTok down. Uh, all I can say is, you want to be down and ask questions, send me an email at jonahbay@gmail, and we'll get you ready next time to ask questions. But why would you have to register a private agreement like a trust? You have to register the trust. It goes back to when I first talked on the air in 2014. You have to register because it's just like when you have a farm and you make your you have your cattle and you get a branding iron. You need the branding iron to put your brand or your logo on your cattle, right? But you have to take it down to the county and register it. Why? Because if anyone ever tries to steal your cattle and they make a branding iron, your shit was registered. That means you have the proof that you did your shit 20 years ago. And his shit ain't registered at all. You would win that case because you have absolute proof it was yours, first in time, first in line. So you actually register shit to prove you are the owner and you were the first one. That's why you do that, brother. So hopefully you was on and heard the answer. Yeah, it's very simple, man. It's just like a trademark. You don't want no one using your shit. You do trademark registration and all that so no one can steal your ideas and do your things. That's the reason why. You do it with the county because when you do it at the county, it's done in the real estate department, which is for what? Real property. Real property. So you're registering your real property so that they don't try to take your real property and put it in the fiction called the U.S. corporation or the state of Georgia, the state of New York, it got to stay in New York. It got to stay in Georgia. It got to stay in the Republic. That's the reason why. With that being said, it's that time. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I know I did. Even though we got rained on a little bit, I enjoyed it. See y'all again tomorrow for the people who's part of the private build. If you're not a part of the private build, send an email to jonahbay@gmail.com and we see what we can do about getting you into the private build. With that being said, we out of here. Peace to Yahuwah. Peace.